with reason, falling in love with reason. Oh, falling in love with reason was the best thing I've ever done. Let me sing that again. Falling in love with reason, falling in love with reason. Oh, falling in love with reason was the best thing I've ever done. In my right mind, I feel protected. In my right mind, never disconnected. In my right mind, I feel protected, and there's no place I'd rather be. Come on, y'all, sing it with me this time. In my right mind, I feel protected. In my right mind, never disconnected. In my right mind, I feel protected, and there's no place I'd rather be. So falling in love with reason, oh, falling in love with reason. The best thing I've ever done. It was the best thing I've ever done. It was the best thing I've ever done.
I got a reason to sing, a reason to dance. I've still got a reason for joy, to still clap my hands. I got a reason, not based in believing. It's all 'cause I know who I am. If you knew my story, you know I got a reason to dance. If you knew my story, you know I got a reason to dance.
Let's sing that again.
I got a reason to sing, a reason to dance. I still got a reason for joy, to still clap my hands. Woo! I got a reason, not based in believing. It's all 'cause I know who I am. If you knew my story, you know I got a reason to dance. Woo! Hey! If you knew my story, you know I got a reason to dance. Yeah! Woo! I've got a reason to love, a reason to share. I've still got a reason to build, still reason to care. It's all 'cause I know who I am. If you knew my story, you'd know I got a reason to dance. If you knew my story, you know I got a reason to dance. Hey, if you knew my story, you know I got a reason to dance. Hey, if you knew my story, you know I got a reason to dance. When I think of all the things I've learned on the greatness of the vast unknown, how could I not be overwhelmed in awe of the majesty being alive right now? When I think of all the things I've learned on the greatness of the vast unknown, how could I not be overwhelmed in awe of the majesty being alive right now? If you knew my story, you know I got a reason to dance. If you knew my story, you know I got a reason to dance. If you knew my story, you know I got a reason to dance. To sing, to clap my hands for every night, have reason. If you knew my story, you know. Oh, you knew my story, you know. If you knew my story, you know. If you knew my story, you know. If you knew my story, you know. I got a reason. I still got a reason. I still have a reason. Not based in believing, but I still got a reason. If you knew my story, you know I got a reason to dance.
If you've got a reason, would you be loud about it? If you've got a reason, if you still got a reason, would you be loud about it?
Beautiful people, happy Sunday. It's that time again. Welcome to Sunday Sessions. You know, this is our weekly touch point for community, connection, and conversation. So whether you're watching us live or on the global campus or having a local watch party, or you're about to catch that replay, we're so glad that you chose to join us, okay? Our mission is simple. We are here to help you build better, connect better, and live better. And our values are clear. We are forward thinking. We are people centric. And my favorite, we are life affirming. Okay. I love that. And our why is strong because everything we do revolves around people and the reality that people matter. So this isn't a place for pretending certainty. It is a place for honest thinking, shared responsibility, and shared connection. Okay, so if this is your first time, welcome, loves. We appreciate you, and you don't have to agree with everything. Okay, you don't have to have it all together because everybody don't have it all together. Okay, you are here, and that's what matters. So we hope you enjoy your experience and it leads you to coming back the next week and the next week and the next week and sharing with family and friends, okay? So if you are a first-time guest, we want to share something with you. We have a free gift for you, okay? We said free. Okay, so go ahead and visit bridgecity.app/guest. We'll have it on the screen and in the chat for you as well. This is just a small token of our hospitality, and it's a helpful tool for navigating connection in real time. So go ahead and follow the link on the screen and claim your gift at your convenience. No pressure, okay? Just keep in mind our series for the month of February is Falling in Love with Reason. Okay, don't we love the wordplay? So we're going to be exploring ways to maximize the relationships in our lives through the lens of reason, and asking the question, in the world where old engagement are kind of crumbling here when we're talking about religion, patriarchy, gender norms. And that question we're going to be asking is, can we use reason to reorient ourselves and the way we choose to interact with others? So keep that question in mind as you're listening to each of the sessions for the month of February, because we're talking about friendship, kinship, partnership, and even membership. Okay, by the end of the series, the goal is for us to be a step closer and clearer to making the most out of our relationships. Okay, so before we begin today's conversation, let's go ahead and check over to Bridge City News.
Hey, Bridge City. Happy Sunday, or whatever day it is on your side of the world. I'm Bob Swanson, and I'm here to give you a look at what's happening across our community. There's a lot growing, shifting, and unfolding, and I want to make sure you're in the loop. Now, you may have noticed some construction. Our global campus has been under construction, and that means new spaces and places to help our members connect. Visit our new Welcome Center to start exploring the growth for yourself. There's an area for first-time guests, new members, volunteers, and even a space where you can ask questions. Any questions. Questions like, want to host a watch party? Have you ever been in the middle of a Sunday session and thought, I wish this was available in my city in person? Well, you could be the person who becomes that spark. Hosting a weekly watch party is the first step to bringing the Bridge City experience to your city. A watch party is a small in-person gathering where friends meet at someone's home or venue to watch the community's weekly online session together, creating a shared experience for community, conversation, and growth. It's about building relationships and community around our mission and message, with hosts providing a welcoming space, food, and discussion, supported by community resources. Visit the link to discover everything you need to start, host, and lead a watch party. Now, coming up in March, mark your calendar. Our movie night feature is going to be John Lewis, Good Trouble. I think this was one of my suggestions. What a wonderful documentary. If you're an activist, a wannabe activist, this is the one to see. John Lewis, you'll learn about his life, and you'll learn about his mission to make good trouble. Now, today I want to show some love and shine a spotlight on our politics club. There is no doubt that beliefs and values inform politics, and this is a great space to explore that interaction. No matter your background or viewpoint, you're welcome to bring your voice, curiosity, and questions. And hey, this is a global community. I guarantee you'll learn all kinds of international politics if you stick around long enough. To all of our new members, welcome. We know that joining a new community, especially online, can be overwhelming. That's why we've been intentionally working on building a campus experience that helps orient you and makes it easy to navigate all that Bridge City is and offers. If you haven't already, visit the link today and make the most of your member experience, because at Bridge City, membership matters. Since the start of the year, more than 20 people have made the decision to connect with Bridge City as their community of choice, and we couldn't be more excited. We're growing faster than we can keep up with, but we want to be intentional about welcoming, celebrating, and engaging our new members. So, starting this month, every last Wednesday night of the month, we're going to be hosting a house party for new members on the global campus. House parties have always been a part of the vision for local campuses for new members to meet the community in a house party environment. Now that we have a global campus, we want to get that community ritual kickstarted virtually. You'll bring the food and the drinks, we'll bring the games, and we'll all have a good time. It's a perfect opportunity to meet other members in the community while having fun and learning more about our vision. Keep an eye out on the event calendar to RSVP. Now, do you want to get involved? As we're starting to grow, we need members to get involved and help us deliver on the experience and power the mission. As people join the global campus, we need volunteers to greet them and welcome them into our community. We need volunteers to help expand the capacity in production and multimedia. We need volunteers to coordinate campus activities and community events. Volunteering isn't just about helping the community look good. It's how we empower the community to actually do good. Every volunteer expands our capacity to support our growing body of members and mobilize around our mission in real time. And it's also the easiest way to build new relationships that make life meaningful. Becoming a volunteer gives you more people to call, more people to laugh with, and more people to face life with. Visit the link on the screen to explore the growing number of opportunities to get involved. And if you don't see anything that piques your interest, reach out to the team. Every second Tuesday of the month is Giving Tuesday at Bridge City. We don't ask for tithes or dues, but as a community, we are sustained by the regular contributions of our members. Your giving empowers us to keep showing up on Sundays, to provide an expansive global campus experience, and to launch local events that make new communities possible. Giving Tuesday is a monthly reminder that we couldn't do this without you. If you believe that our mission is worth building and our vision is worth supporting, consider making the second Tuesday of this month as a day to support the vision with a financial gift. We can't offer you an afterlife in exchange for your giving, but we can offer you continued community and expanding results. We are changing the world together, and generosity is making it possible. That's about everything for this week. This is a great opportunity to share the stream before the conversation starts. And if you haven't done so already, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. As always, thank you for being the bridge. All right, Darante, let's get into today's conversation.
Happy Sunday, everybody. Welcome in. So glad to see so many of you already here in the chat, already here in the stream, active and live. Let me go ahead and tell you real quick, today is going to be a good day, if I must say so myself. So happy to have you in here. Our team is growing like crazy. Listen, if you want to be a part of what we do, if you want to join the team, make sure you check out that link that was on the screen, bridgecity.app/teams, and you can find your fit. We love to see you getting involved, making this happen, man. Our team has been growing like wildfire. Check this out. Just this past weekend, our SoCal crew was hiking in Chino Hills. I don't know if I'm saying it right. Chino Hills, Chinook. It's something like that. But they went hiking. And then Bridge City MSU is official. There's a Bridge City Club at Mississippi State University, and they just had their first interest meeting this week. Hey, not only that, man, we're actually in the middle of conversations about building a small group in Miami and Atlanta as well. So, man, listen to me. Things are exciting around here. Things are getting good. If you didn't know what we're about, we're here to build better, to connect better, and to help people live better at the end of the day. Again, if you're here for the very first time, if this is your first time here with us at Bridge City, we're going to make you stand up and introduce yourself. No, I'm just playing. If this is your first time here, we have a very special gift that we like to get in your hands, something that we think will help you understand our mission better and also help you understand how to connect better in your everyday life. One of the things that we exist to do is to help people find the resources, the tools, the training, and the materials they need to move their lives forward in ways that mean something to them. So again, if this is your first time here, we'd love to put that gift in your hand. All right, last week we started a new series. Around here we are falling in love with reason. This is our February series, and how appropriate is that? Normally in February, we're talking about two things, especially in this country, Black History Month and love. And it just so happens that I love Black History Month. So it works out really good. But for today, or for this entire month, we're re-examining our relationships through the lens of reason, right? Walking away from religion, walking away from culture, walking away from traditional norms can often leave us disoriented in life, especially when it comes to our relationships. The question often becomes, how do we do relationships now? How much of the way that we were doing relationship before was based or rooted in superstition, rooted in old rules of engagement that had no grounding in reason. So this entire series for the entire month of February, every conversation we're having is tackling some point of relationship and asking ourselves, how do we do this now that we're using reason as a guide? Last week, I told you about a song that I grew up singing called Falling in Love with Jesus. If you joined us early, and by the way, if you don't join us early, what you be doing? Get in here early so you can get some of that good music, man. But if you joined us early, you would have heard our version of that song. It used to be Falling in Love with Jesus was the best thing I've ever done, and in his arms I feel protected, and it's the best place I've ever been. But for us, it's falling in love with reason, man. And it is a double entendre. On one hand, if I'm gonna fall in love, I need it to be a reasonable transaction. I need it to be a reasonable engagement. If I'm falling in love, I need reason to be guiding that decision. I need reason to be guiding that movement. But also, not only do I want to fall in love with people, and I hope just maybe 15 of y'all feel me right here, but it's also about falling in love with reason as well, falling in love with critical thinking, falling in love with logic, loving critical thinking, loving reason, loving understanding, loving wisdom, because by loving those things that help me understand the world that I live in, I can better navigate the world that I live in. I'm already preaching, and I ain't even in my notes yet, but I hope this is helping somebody. So we started this new series, Falling in Love with Reason. We rewrote the song to go with it, Falling in Love with Reason. And by the way, if you're really feeling Bridge City music, I got some really good news for you. It is now streaming on all major platforms. Can I get a hell yeah in the chat for that? That our music is now streaming on all major platforms: Spotify, Amazon, iTunes, Tidal, all of them. It's out there. So if you want to get some of that music in your life, go find it. All right, go out there and get it. All right, so last week we talked about friendship. Hell yeah, I love it. Last week we talked about friendship, and man, we had a really good time with that conversation. If you haven't checked it out, go back and watch Friends with Benefits from last week. If you have trouble finding it, you can find it easy on the global campus by clicking Sunday Sessions. But we started with friendships because friendships are chosen relationships with terms. And the whole point of this series is simple. It's relationships beyond superstition, right? Not cold, not calculating, but caring. So many people, when they think of reason, when they think of logic, they think of cold and calculating. But what I've learned is that reason has actually allowed me to expand. Ooh, this is good. Reason has allowed me to expand my containment of care. Does that make sense? Oh man, let me say it again. One thing that I've learned is that reason has allowed me to expand my containment of care. See, and we're going into this series in March, so I hope y'all are ready for this. But the greater gospel, or the greatest gospel, a part of my deconversion process was realizing that if I approach the world through reason instead of religion, I can actually love more people. Is that, man, I hope that's good for somebody. That reason actually expands the container of my ability to care. Reason isn't the enemy of love. Reason is love with headlights. It's love with his eyes wide open. When I was growing up, talk show television was seemingly in a golden age. I don't know if y'all remember it, but I'm gonna take you down memory lane real quick. Y'all remember Sally Jesse Raphael? Yeah, it was most popular for audience-driven, issue-centered daytime conversation in the pre and early tabloid era. Serious topics, heated debates, and a host who could keep the room moving. Sally's oversized red glasses, hello, became an iconic visual trademark that instantly identified the show in pop culture. It helped define the blueprint of the syndicated talk boom that later got pushed louder and more sensational across the genre. But then there was also the Ricky Lake Show. How many of y'all remember Ricky Lake? It became a defining 90s daytime hit for putting real people, and especially younger voices, at the center of messy relationship and family conflicts. Its signature lane was youth perspective storytelling, less my teen is driving me crazy, and more my mom don't understand me. Parents just don't understand. That's major shout out. Y'all remember that song. but they often approached it with blunt, candid topics like dating drama, teen pregnancy, and everyday social chaos. In the pop culture memory of the era, it's often grouped with tabloid talk, but it stood out for the host's youthful energy and that youth first framing. Let's take it a little step further. The Montel Williams Show. Y'all remember old bald-headed Montel, man? It was most popular for a more issue-forward, discussion-heavy format, often centered on family relationships and high-stakes real-life problems. Hosted with a firmer, let's talk this through tone than many of its tabloid-era peers. Now, this show built its reputation on giving everyday guests and experts space to unpack serious topics in a studio setting that aimed for order and clarity, not just spectacle. I like that. Over its long run, it became one of the era's most recognizable syndicated talk brands, associated with Montel's authoritative hosting style. But then who could forget the Jenny Jones Show? It was wildly known for sensational conflict-driven daytime topics, especially secret crush and surprise reveal style episodes that leaned into shock and embarrassment as entertainment. Its public legacy became inseparable from the 1995 Secret Crush episode tied to a real-world killing and the intense ethical backlash that followed. That controversy became a cultural reference point for the limits and dangers of 90s tabloid talk television. Now, you would think that after such a horrific ordeal of Jenny Jones, that spectacle and tabloid shows would have put the brakes on. But no, this next show went all gas, no brakes. The Jerry Springer Show. The Jerry Springer Show, by the time I was in middle school and high school, it was absolutely iconic. I mean, I think they had remade a Total song, Jerry Springer's on TV, dun, 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 dun. Cussing, fighting, young and old. It's crazy. Like, Jerry Springer became most popular for chaos as format. Outrageous guest conflicts, taboo topics, and on-stage blow-ups that blurred talk show and spectacle. The series is famously associated with brawls, I can't even get my words out, y'all, brawls, and security interventions, so much so that it became shorthand for wild daytime TV. Its cultural footprint is less about interviews and more about being the peak symbol of the tabloid fight era. I promise you, I'm going somewhere with this. The Geraldo Rivera Show, it was most popular for provocative confrontation-ready panels that put America's tensions on stage. Controversial subcultures, polarizing issues, and guests chosen to clash. The show's identity was tabloid debate with real heat, reflecting Geraldo's sensationalist journalist brand and appetite for high-friction topics. In the talk show ecosystem, it's remembered as one of the key bridges between issue talk and the full tabloid era. Now, this next one is probably the most popular talk show in the world, The Oprah Winfrey Show. It was popular for elevating daytime talk into a culture-shaping platform, big human interviews, emotional storytelling, and conversations that often set the national mood. Two signature Oprah effects were her ability to turn books into bestsellers through her book club and her blockbuster giveaways that became event television. More than any single segment type, it was known for building a trusted, aspirational tone that made the show feel like both therapy and Times Square. But then here's the last show that I want to hit in my introduction, the one that many people forget, but it was a show that was absolutely attractive, absolutely interesting, and kept you on the edge of your seats from episode to episode. And unlike many other talk shows, this one would have like a part 2 and a part 3 and a part 4. You could have not been on the show in 5 years, and then they're going to bring you back to do the same thing you did on the show 5 years ago for the next time around. Does anybody know what show I'm talking about? The Maury Povich Show. Now, it became most popular for paternity test television, dramatic DNA reveals, and the catchphrase energy of who's the father outcomes. Over time, that format plus lie detector segments became the show's core identity and meme, its most replayed memeable legacy. Even as daytime TV shifted, those reveals stayed synonymous with the brand and kept it culturally sticky for decades. Now, I considered Maury to be the most dubious of all of these shows because he always looked so sincere when setting people up to make fools of themselves. Now, Karen, this is your seventh time on the show, and all 6 times before, the previous men were not the father. What makes you so sure this time that Jerry is indeed the father? It was always the same type of setup, and he'd look so sincere. He'd be sitting on the edge of his chair, sleeves rolled up on the edges of his knees, and he's just looking at him like he really cared, knowing that this is about to be a joke and he's about to make good money of it. But the central question of his conversations does have some value for today's discussion, as it revolved around relationships. You either are or not the father. Maury managed to capture the attention of an entire nation and beyond by bringing a well-known secret as old as the milkman. Mama's baby, daddy's maybe. And I want to capture that central question today and use it as our title. Are you ready for this? Our title this weekend is, Are We Related or Not? Yep, because if we're going to be doing this thing, wasn't that the central question? Are we related or not? We're in this together. I know we're on this show together, but the central reason we're here is to define, are we really related or not? Where does this thing go? When my wife and I first got married, we used to argue all the time, and somewhere I should have put Phil in the mix. And at some point in the arguments, I used to start saying this thing like, hey, after this argument, are we staying together or not? That let's before we say another word, before we move a step further, before we cross any lines that we don't want to cross, before we say another word after this argument, are we still going to be together or not? Are we still going to choose to be related or not? Are we related or not? Are we family or not? Because if we're still going to be together after this, maybe we should talk to each other like we plan on still being together after this. Did I go too deep for y'all too early? No, let's talk. Or are we related or not? Because this is where most people get stuck. Friendships break and people say good riddance, right? Friendships break, whatever, you gone. But family breaks and people say, well, that's just how it is. And I want to ask the question out loud, or are we related or not? Because some of us are living like related means required, even when the relationship is unsafe, disrespectful, or one-sided. If you didn't know, we're talking about families today. Last week, we talked about friendship. This week, we're talking about kinship, right? Because last week we explored that how many times we can be approaching our friendships from old paradigms, but if our friendships aren't safe from superstitions, then I can guarantee you that our family relationships, most of our family relationships, are based in superstitious maxims such as honor your father and mother, for your days shall be long, or train up a child in the way that they should go, and in the end they shall not depart from them. Honor your elders. You know, is these type of things that many of us have based our family relationships in. All right. So what I would like to do is to give you, let me give you my working definition of family. I typically define family as a group of people committed to working together in the same direction. Watch this, with generational expectations. That's the primary difference between friendship and kinship, is that friendship can be a group of people committed to working together in the same direction. But what makes it kinship is that this thing has generational Expectations. Oh, yeah, we're going to talk about this. It's not just blood, it's not just shared DNA, it's direction, it's expectations, and it's continuity. Okay. Yes, love is reasonable. Kinship at its best serves three big purposes. The first one is a durable safety net when life gets hard. I think that's one of the ways I realized that I had a family problem. I didn't allow myself to confront my family problem until after I deconverted. I write about it in my book, Black Nonbeliever Next Door. If you haven't checked it out, it's available everywhere books are sold. But I wrote about it in my book, Black Nonbeliever Next Door. I realized I had a family problem. This is how I realized that I had a family problem because I did not have a durable safety net when life got hard. Yeah, I didn't have no. See, every time life got hard, it was just me. Yes, y'all don't want to talk. That's when I realized, like, no, I have a family that's ornamental. We talked about this with friendship last week. I had a family that was ornamental, not functional. Kinship at its best, family at its best serves purposes. These three big purposes. The first one, listen, if you don't have a durable safety net, you might not have family. But the good news is you can do something about that. That second one is an identity anchor. Across generations, this is who I am. And that third one is long-term continuity, history, roots, and legacy. And by the way, just in favor of Black History Month, history means nothing if it's not tied to an expected legacy. Okay, yeah, let's go there. History means nothing if it's not tied to an expected legacy. Let me make this. Let me make this make sense. This is getting good. Jalapeno, habanero. I don't care who was the first unless we're ready to promote the next. Okay, y'all talk to me? Are y'all talking to me? Are you listening to me? Are you out there? In the words of John Legend, I can't care about who was first unless I'm also caring about who's going to be next. History means nothing without an expectation of legacy. What happened before means nothing if we're not talking about what we're expecting to happen next. Happy Black History Month. Ideally, let's get back to these notes. Family is the default support system when everything else shifts, when the job changes, when the marriage gets shaky, when depression hits, when grief walks in and sits down on the couch with you. That's when family means something. Family at its best doesn't disappear when life gets heavy. But here's the problem. Intimacy increases access and control, but does not always increase expectation. And so this is going to bring us to our very first question of today's discussion. And that is, what if we've been doing family wrong? Man, and that can kind of be a double entendre as well. Like, what if we've been doing family wrong? One thing I've realized is as relationships become more intimate, they tend to increase parameters of control and access while decreasing parameters of expectation. Does that make sense? They increase parameters of control and access. Like, and before you start thinking about the people who've done this to you, I want you to try to be. Come on, let's put on our grown folks clothes today. Let's put on our grown folks mind today. Before you start thinking about the people who maybe have done it to you, I want you to think about maybe places where you've done it to others, because I think we've all been guilty of it, not meaning it, but the relationship gives us more access to a person, but doesn't give that person more right to expectations for us. We get more access, we get more control. You see that? We get more access, we get more control, but don't you dare give us any standards. Have you ever done that before? Have you ever done that before? Like, no, I get to be in your life. I get to see all your stuff, but please don't have any standards for me. Let me say it plain. Access increases, standards don't always follow. So the closer people get to you, the more they feel entitled to your time, your body, your attention, your emotional labor, but they don't always feel responsible for your well-being. It's really easy to slip into because you start beginning to think things like, well, that's what family is for. And that's why family can be either the safest place in the world or it can be the most dangerous place in the world. Because some people use family like a cheat code. I can talk to you any way I want because we're family. No, you have to accept this because we're family. No, this is what family does. No, we can fight and all the time, but as long as we come back together, it's good. I can violate your boundaries because we're family. I can disappear when you need me because we're gonna always be family. Blood is thicker than water. I can demand support, but I don't owe respect because that's just how family works. The phrase that usually seals the deals is, I shouldn't have to do all of that because we're family. Or the other version, that'll always be your family. That's always going to be your mother. No, that's always going to be your brother. Well, now, that's always going to be your uncle. Because kinship, dang it. This is the important part. Kinship without reason becomes a lifelong hostage situation. And I've noticed that a lot of people don't have family, they have captors. Let's sit in that habanera. A lot of people don't have family, they have captors. We just trapped in this together. And because we share the same DNA, you have to tolerate my bullshit over and over again. See, that's a hostage situation. All right. Family comes with old rules, old scripts, and old assumptions. Let's talk about some old kinship guides. You had blood meant loyalty, even when loyalty cost your health. You got respect means silence. If I really respect you, I won't say nothing about what you're doing. If I really respect you, I won't articulate that what you're doing causes me harm. Remember when we talked about that last week? How are you in relationships and you don't feel that it is absolutely necessary for you to express yourself? How are you in relationship and you don't feel that it's necessary for you to express your expectations in the relationships? 9 times out of 10, you got that training in family. Because in the old way we did family, respect meant silence. Don't speak up. Don't challenge. The old way we did family was tradition means truth. Well, we've always done it this way, so this is the way that it needs to be done. In the old way we did family, hierarchy meant worth, where elders could do no wrong and children owe everything to those who came before them. Hierarchy meant worth. It was literally like you ain't been here long enough to be worth anything. And the only thing that qualified you to be worthy is time. And it didn't even have to be time spent well. You could be older and still just as dumb as you was on day one, and we'd still have to respect you for it. I don't know if I find that respectable. In the old way that we did family, access meant entitlement. No, because I'm related, I can take. Because I'm related, I don't have to ask. Because I'm related, I don't really have to consider how you may feel about this. And I'm not saying that every family runs like that. I'm saying many of us were trained to tolerate these rules without ever asking if they were reasonable. So now let's make the reason move. The reason move is that kinship must have a shared direction. Watch this. Oh goodness. Let me do a preacher move. Watch this. No, here it is. Kinship must have a shared direction and shared obligations. Which brings us to our next question of the day. What does it mean to be kin? After this recent fiasco that came out of the White House this week, man, how disappointing. Not shocking, in the least bit. Because if you know, you know. There was an old adage that Maya Angelou popularized: when people show you who they are, believe them. Okay. I saw it a long time ago and I believed it then. I'm not like Sansa. Sansa Stark learned slow. I learned fast. But what was even more disheartening was just the amount of people who shared the video and the imagery all throughout the internet, popularizing such a dehumanizing depiction of people. And one person shared it, and I got to share the quote that they shared with it, because they found someone else trying to make excuses for it, and they had to remind themselves, here's an old saying: everybody that's your skin folk ain't your kin folk. All right. So the question is, what does it mean to be kin? If friendship is a chosen relationship with terms, we talked about them terms and conditions must apply. If we're gonna be friends, terms, we got to be friends with some benefits. Can I get some benefits? Can I get some benefits? But if a friendship is a chosen relationship with terms, then kinship is a chosen relationship with responsibility. Because family is not a relationship strategy. Okay, family is a fact. Family is biology, it's paperwork. But kinship, which is what we're talking about, real kinship, where we know we're the same kind of person, when we know that we're the same kind of person. Real kinship is when the relationship becomes a durable safety net and identity anchor by choice, behavior, and commitment. Let's ask Wikipedia what Wikipedia thinks it is. Wikipedia says, in anthropology, kinship is the web of social relationships that form an important part of the lives of all humans and societies. Jalapeno. Anthropologist Robin Fox says that the study of kinship is the study of what humans do with these basic facts of life. Here we go. Mating, that's fun. Gestation, I like that too. Parenthood, I do that. Socialization, I'm all about that. Siblingship, I got a lot of problems there. So, etc. Human society is unique, he argues, in that we are working with the same material as exists in the animal world, but we can conceptualize and categorize it to serve social ends. These social ends include the socialization of children and the formation of basic economic, political, and religious groups. Okay, the big thing that I want to pull out of that is kind of like what we dealt with last week. Friendships should be more than just feelings, right? In the same way, family should be more than just fun. Family should be more than just fellowship. Family should be more than just food. Family should be more than just frustrating the hell out of each other. Family serves in the same way that friendship is a social technology. Family is also a social technology. All right. It's a social technology. Okay, maybe Wikipedia gave us too much words. Okay, let's try Google this time. Y'all want to try Google? Let's see what Google says. Y'all know Google. Google is the original capital G, the real capital G. They used to say big G and little g. Well, I think we all know that Google is the big G and God is the little g. Okay, that was my little joke. It's a jokey joke. It's a jokey joke. You can laugh. It's okay. It's okay. Who hurt you? Let's go. Okay, Google says kinship originated as a fundamental prehistoric and cultural system of social organization, evolving from early hominin, likely matrilineal social structures to manage, cooperate, and define relationships beyond face-to-face interaction. Now, what I want to hit there real quick, and I'm going to keep reading, but I want to hit there. This shows that kinship has been a social technology that has been with us longer than we've been sapiens. That's just mind-blowing to me. I'll let you chew on that nugget and do whatever you want to do with that. I'll let you chew on that nugget. No. Okay, it's been with us for a long time, and started likely from matrilineal, not patrilineal. Now, for me, another Black History Month nugget right here. That's not a surprise for me, because the further back in history you go, you do seem to find us more aligned with matrilineal type of recognitions. All right. So that's a part of who we are. All right. It transformed biological, individualistic behavior into structured, intergenerational social bonds, adapting to new subsistence forms like agriculture. Okay. The development of kinship was driven by the need to manage resources, and particularly within the Neolithic transition, to manage increased, complex, and unequal resources. All right. Okay. So last week we found out that we might be doing friends wrong. I talked to 15 visionaries for about 15 seconds, letting them know that, hey, your frustration in life might not be a funds problem. It may be a friends problem. And that's one of the things that, like, listen, if you don't learn nothing from the work that we do in Bridge City, what I'm trying to get you to understand is that your biggest source of weakness is coming from your disconnections. Your biggest source of weakness is coming from your wasted connections. So if you want to do life right, you've got to do connections right. If you want to do life right, baby, you got to do friendship right. If you want to do life right, you've got to do family right. But the only way we're going to be able to do that is we're going to have to engage it with reason. We can't just be following the old rules of engagement. We can't just be following the old ways of tradition. We have to get an understanding of why we do, when we do, how we do, so that when we are in relationship with each other, we can communicate, we can connect, we can cooperate, and we can collaborate. Where there is no cooperation, baby, there is no family. We've got to get it right. Family doesn't just serve for memories. That's all family has become for most people. For many people, family has become nothing more than a conjurer of memories. It has become something I can engage so I have nice stories to tell, so I have things to reflect on, so I can say, remember when we did that? But my question will always be, well, what's next? God damn it. What are we doing next? How are we able to have all of that fun and still ain't did nothing that means anything to who we are and where we live as a society, a family? Oh, man, y'all got me preaching already. If we are family, we got children that live in this world that got to learn how to navigate. If we're family, we have people in this world who don't have anything to eat, don't have food on their tables or shelter on their backs. If we're family, then we have to be doing something about the problems that we're facing. If the question were free, if the question for friendship was, how are you here? You're here with me. You see how bad we're struggling. How are you here and not helping? Then it has to be, then the standard for that question has to be even higher for family. Like, that wrecked me. Like, this may be the pivotal moment in my experience with religion, was realizing that I was doing family wrong. I was praying that my kids would be okay in this world, not preparing for them to be okay in this world. Oh, no, there's a difference. There's a difference. I was about to set them up the same way I had been set up. That for 18 years, you live your life like a child, and then I hand you over to the wolves and say, figure it out by your damn self. How selfish, how irresponsible, how neglectful. No, I'm here to help you navigate. I'm here to help you because I brought you into this. Okay, I'm sorry, y'all. Did I go too deep? Family serves a purpose that is more than just fellowship. Family serves a purpose that is more than just memories, good times and bad times. How are we moving together? How are we functioning together? You know, when I think of family, I like to think of old shows, jalapeno. Well, it's not an old show, but it's a show of old times, like fantasy times. You get it. But Game of Thrones. In Game of Thrones, they got these things called houses. All right. In Game of Thrones, they got these things called houses. I know we got houses too, But I notice our houses are so much smaller than their houses, that our houses are less defined than their houses. You know, jalapeno. Is this getting good, y'all? Like their houses are bigger. And I'm not talking about like just bigger as in fancy, as in nice, as in more bricks or more wood. What I mean when I say that their houses were bigger, our average house is mother, father, and children. That's our average house. But I noticed when watching Game of Thrones, which I'm a fan of, when I was watching Game of Thrones, except for the last episode, which I call Fuck Them Bells. That's the name of that episode, the episode before the last. But they had, for their houses, in their one house, you'd have cousins. In that one house, you'd have people who were blacksmiths. In that one house, you'd have people who were responsible for the horses. And in that one house, you'd have people who are responsible for an education, because that's what family is. Family is the system. Remember, I told you those group of people working together in the same direction with generational expectations. And sometimes I wonder why our families stay so small, because I'm like, nah, bro, you got to look around for everything that we're expecting. We're going to need more people. I don't know if y'all remember Jaws, but I used to love Jaws. If we was in the building right now and the live band was here, I'd have them playing the Jaws music right now. You got the music coming up, and a man said the line that went down in cinematic history, I think we're going to need a bigger boat. See, that's my approach to family right now. When I look at the situation that we're in, we ain't got time to be playing with it. We ain't got time to just be playing games and making memories. I think we're going to need a bigger boat. What's my job? What's my job as a parent is I got to build a bigger boat, okay? So the big point is the development of kinship was driven by the need to manage resources. Family is a strategic response to the reality of the world that we live in. Damn, that's not in my notes, but it should have been. Family is a strategic response to the reality of the world that we live in. It's the reminder that, oh shit, I can't do this by myself. I'm good, y'all. I'm telling you, I'm real good. I'm good at a lot of things, bruh. I'm so good at a lot of things. I can computer code. I can sing. I can play the piano. I can turn stuff that ain't supposed to be stuff into stuff that it can be for me. Like right now, I'm all well lit. And that's just because I took some phone tripods and I took some bar lights from Lowe's and I combined them things together. And when their powers are combined, they become something I need them to be in the last minute. That's the way that I do things. I'm good at a lot, and I know I am. That's why I walk with my head held up high. That's why I walk with my shoulders back, because I know I'm good at so much. I'm capable. Man, there's not much you can put in front of me that I can't do. But as good as I am, as bad as I am, as talented as I am, I can't do it all. And the world is so big, you know? Once I realized how serious family was and how much of a requirement that it actually is in order to be able to navigate without losing your mind and without losing yourself, and to still have some sense of joy. Like, that's what's wrong with some of us right now. The reason we're always mad, the reason our blood pressure is high, because all of us didn't have a silver spoon. All of us didn't have other people opening doors for us. Some of you that I'm talking about right now, you have spent your whole life since leaving home having to get it out the mud, having to get it for yourself. And I don't care what nobody say, that shit transforms you. It does something to you. You've had to do it so long for by yourself. And I hope you're proud of yourself. No, pat yourself on the back, stand up proud. No, be happy, be proud of what you've done. But I hope that through the work that we do, that you don't have to do that no more. You don't have to do that no more. I'm working on a new story. I write. And I'm kind of preaching to myself right now, because I'm one of those people. I'll do everything myself. So I've been working lately to try to give myself some of my time back so I can just have some joy. You know what I'm saying? And so I've been working on a story because I love to write. I love creative writing. And the name of the story is Pressure. All right. The name of the story is Pressure. And the main character in Pressure, he has high blood pressure. But it's like a superhero story, but it's kind of dark. Okay. You won't get the darkness to the end, but I'm going to walk you through it a little bit. This ain't in my notes. I just want to tell you about it. Do y'all mind if I tell y'all about Pressure? Do y'all mind? Do y'all mind? Let me get a hell yeah in the chat if y'all don't mind. I'm going to tell you anyway, but I'd like to see the hell yeah to know that y'all like it. So the main character has high blood pressure. And one day he works at a bank. He's coming home from the bank. He works at a bank in the inner city somewhere like Birmingham, Alabama. And he's coming home and he gets in a car crash and he notices that he has like really fast reflexes. And he don't know why he got them fast reflexes. But it turns out his high blood pressure gives him hyper awareness, hyper alertness, and hyper reactiveness. So this thing that's actually tearing his body apart is also helping him survive these close call moments. And like, I don't know if you can't catch the metaphor in that yet, you need to read a book because that is so juicy, right? And so listen, so then one day he's coming, he's walking from work because now he don't got a car because it was a car accident, and so he's walking from work and someone is trying to rob him. Someone is trying to rob him. And again, that hyper alertness that I love y'all. Y'all are amazing, man. That hyper alertness kicks in and he does his little karate chop thing, and he don't even know karate, but it's his body kicking in from all of that pressure that's in his body. Every time his blood pressure spikes, he goes into action reflexively, reactively, with not much control over it, but it always gets the job done. And it just so happens that there's a film student in the background who caught it on film and said, "Oh, I think something's happening here." He done zoomed in on the face and he says, "I don't think this dude has ever done this before." He says, "I might be capturing the beginning of a superhero." So he decides to start following this dude around everywhere he goes without the dude knowing it, and filming everything that he's doing and streaming it out to people, showing that there's a new superhero and we got new hope. And the dude actually becomes popular and he's out there helping people, but it's also costing him his body. All right. But everybody loves him and everybody's like, "Oh, dude, you're so awesome. You're out there killing the game. We love you. Keep doing what you're doing." And then there's this bank robbery at his job and he jumps in and he helps and he's almost losing. They're overpowering him. And then someone says, "Hey, he needs help." And society says, "You know what?" Because everybody's watching from their screens and they say, "You know what? He does need our help." And so everybody starts tweeting as hard as they can. Everybody starts social media posting as hard as they can. They start sending positive vibes. Everybody's sending all of their thoughts and prayers. If they're Pentecostals, they're probably hand blasting them like, "Hashatarabasaya." Everybody's doing all of this useless shit. And only one person shows up. One person shows up. And that one person shows up. He says, "I'm here for you." I haven't named the main character yet, so we'll just call him Big Guy. "I'm here for you, Big Guy." And he looks up. He's almost defeated. And he sees that one person and he gets a last bit of energy and then he beats him. I don't know what he's going to do to him, but he beats the people. And everybody's watching, is cheering. And the film student is like, "Holy crap, this is amazing." And he goes ahead and starts putting his camera stuff up. It's a wrap. And then the one person who shows up goes and helps the hero from the crime scene. And he takes him and sets him down. And he's the only person that witnesses the hero taking his last breath. He's the only person, And I share that story. If you haven't caught it, that story is just the modern version of John Henry. It's the modern version of John Henry. That you get so used to being the sacrifice that you forget that strategy could be a better way. Damn it, I gotta say that again. And I'm talking, this is just to some people who are living with an overwhelming amount of pressure. And you are fighting through it. You are bodying that pressure. You are, man, you're like the greatest champion in the world, but it is costing you. It is costing you. Don't be the sacrifice when strategy will do. Is this good, y'all? family serves a purpose, is the point. I get that I'm winning all of these battles. I love it. But at some point, I do have to wrestle with, well, hell, I shouldn't have to be winning them all by myself. Oh, man. So look, when that book comes out, when that movie comes out, when that television series comes out, y'all are all going to go support Pressure, right? Jalapeno, Pressure. I tell you, I love writing stories. I'm a writer. What can I say? What can I say? People get on to me like, I can tell you reading from notes. Yeah, my notes. Hello. Okay, come on. All right, so family served to organize society, determine social structures, and define behavioral obligations. So here's the question. Are we family or are we kin? Because you can be my family and not be my kin. I found that out. I found that out the hard way. That I got a lot of people that are family by blood, but we not kin. We're not going in the same kind of direction. We're not sharing the same kind of expectations. We don't carry the same kind of obligations towards each other. See, kin is when care obligations show up, especially when life gets hard. You know, no. I'm obligated to be here. As a parent of 4, this is why my standards on family are so hard, is because I'm a parent. And so and I don't, watch this. I consider parenting a familial relationship, a kinship relationship. I feel like all the kinship relationships should be the same. So the one thing that my kids know, the one thing that my wife knows, even if we're mad at each other, is that I'm obligated to show up. That's family. No. If you get a choice whether or not you care, then you ain't no kin to me. Oh man, I'm gonna have to write that song. You ain't no kin to me. No. If you get a choice and your obligation to support, then we're not kin. Well, I would support you, but I don't. We're not kin. What did Kendrick Lamar say? Like, I cut my own granny off if she don't see it like I see it. After years of my mother disappointing me in her behavioral obligations, I told her the next time, like, hey, you can't come back into my life until you go through Bridge City. You got to go through Bridge City 101. Because you don't know nothing about me. You don't know who I am. You don't know what I'm working on, and you don't care to know. You don't treat it like an obligation to actually get to know what I'm working on, because you and your relationship with your imaginary friend that you don't even serve has already told you that I'm not worth anything. And so if your imaginary friend, if a voice in your head can tell you that I'm not worth anything, or that the voice in your head can tell you I'm doing the wrong thing, then you're not kin to me. Kin is when care obligations show up, especially when life gets hard. Kin is when there's continuity, not just contact. No, I can depend on this. Kin is when there's a shared direction, not just a shared history. I don't care that we came from the same house if we're not headed in the same direction. No, I'm not one of people. You got some people who like, no, I was born here and I'll die here. I'm not one of those people. Where I'm born, watch this, where I'm born, who I'm born to, when I'm born, is all just a matter of circumstance. And none of it is a matter of requirement. None of it is a condition that determines who I am and where I'm going. It is simply a matter of circumstance. So if you really want to stay in my life, we've got to be going in the same direction. Otherwise, what are we doing? Kin is when there are standards, not just access. I want you to think about that with every relationships that you have. Do you know the lines? Do you know the standards of every relationship that you have? And I ask you this, I'm not trying to make you feel bad. I promise you not. This is for all of us to check ourselves and say, hey, are there any relationships in my life that I don't know what the standards are? That I've never even asked? Because most times it's not even an expectation. But I dare you, if there are people that you love in your life, start asking them, hey, is there something you've been expecting that you've been expecting from me that I haven't been providing? Are there standards that you've been holding me to that I haven't been fulfilling? Are there boundaries that you don't like crossed that maybe I've crossed a few times? Have you ever done that? Because that's when it gets real. Here's a sentence I want you to sit with this weekend. Family should be sturdy enough to survive expectations. If I can't expect anything from you, what are we doing? If it falls apart when you ask for basic care and respect, that wasn't kinship. We have two children that are getting ready to go into college. Two children that are getting ready to go into college. Okay, we're going to go from a household of 6 to a household of 4, and I don't know how that's going to impact my younger kids. They're going to be seeing their older siblings empty, rooms, not having them to talk to every day like they normally do, and they're going off to college. And I don't know about you, but I'm familiar enough with life to know that college doesn't always work for everybody. That some people go and things get hard. Some people go and they need to take a break. Some people go and they don't feel like they can make it. And for many students, that can be the scariest thing to go through in the world, to be at college, to be for the first time outside of your natural habitat. But do you know how many students have had this happen to them? Well, where they're there, something happens and they call home. And that's the one place they can't go. If it falls apart when you ask for basic care and respect, then that wasn't kinship. That was convenience with blood ties. So here's our next question of the weekend. What if we asked the hard questions? Because that's ultimately what stands in the way of reasonable relationships. What stands in the way of us getting the most out of our relationships? What stands in the way of us not maximizing our relationships is that we're not comfortable asking the hard questions. So let's get practical this weekend. Here's some audit questions. When life gets hard, do you move toward me or away from me? Now, this is something that I pay attention to. When life gets hard, do you move toward me or away from me? Which direction do you move? When I'm frustrated, when I'm stressed, when I'm going through a panic attack, do you move closer to me or away from me? Do you treat my boundaries as disrespect or health? If I say, hey, that's the line, I really appreciate if you didn't cross that line. Do you feel disrespected that I have that boundary? Oh. Do you expect access to my life but resist accountability in yours? See, these are like kinship covenants. That's what I should have called them. I should have called them kinship covenants. No, do you want access but won't take accountability? No, because if I'm giving you access is going to create is going to increase the probability of friction. Okay, and if friction happens, can you be accountable for your part in the friction? Important one to me. Are we building anything together, or are we just managing appearances? When conflict happens, do we repair or do we recruit other relatives and start a campaign? And this is where a lot of us begin to realize something. Some families are a default support system, and some families are a default stress system. And if your family is a default stress system, then it might be time for you to do family differently. I hope this is helping somebody. One stabilizes your nervous system, the other destabilizes it. I thought I thought I'd be lonely, debilitated, isolated, and my life would fall apart once I caught the revelation that, and again, some of you have wonderful, beautiful families. Please do not mar your family through the lens of mine. If your family meets this stuff, you good. But I thought, like me separating from my family was going to be the most like gut-wrenching thing in my life, but it actually became my safety net, because I realized that much of my stress was tied to expecting people to be something that they had never demonstrated themselves to be. You know, this is why you don't see me doing as much screaming about what's going on in the world, because I no longer live in that place where I'm expecting somebody to be who they've never demonstrated to be. That's probably one of the most freeing places you can get to. Well, this person is doing this. Yeah, I know. That's who they've been. They didn't change. This is who they are. Now that I'm no longer expecting them to be my family, now that I'm no longer expecting support to show up, now that I'm no longer expecting them to be dependable, it's removed that level of stress from my life, and it's put the responsibility on me to actually identify stable structures for my life. So if I were writing new rules of reasonable kinship, I'd write something like this: access must be earned even in family. Even in family. No, you still have to earn your access, because how do I know I can trust you with it? And this is something like, and look, this ain't for everybody. This is me, and if you like it, I love it. If you don't, I don't care. But a part of this is you learning how to love yourself and how to treat yourself, that you're worthy of standards. And I find that for a lot of people, that's scary, to treat themselves like they are worthy of standards. Who am I to ask for all of that? You. Who am I to want that? You. You don't need anybody else's permission to want what you want. You don't need anybody else's permission for your expectations. You are a unique individual. So no, if someone is going to have access, even if it's family, if you're going to have access, you're going to have to earn it. Being related might explain closeness, but it does not justify entitlement. I hate to use a scripture for this one, but I got tired of casting my pearls before swine. If you're not going to value me, then you're going to depreciate me. Whew. Rule number 2, obligation goes both ways. It goes both ways. If you can demand loyalty, you can also demonstrate care. If you can request support, you can also offer respect. We all, if I'm in a relationship with anybody, friendship, kinship, partnership, membership, all of it comes with obligations. That's the only way it can come with benefits, is if it comes with obligations. Rule number 3, tradition is not a substitute for trust. Because we've always done it this way is not the same thing as this is safe. Because we've always done it this way is not the same as this helps. Many times when tradition is attacked, the first response that people like, well, it ain't hurting anybody. Well, that's not the question. Is it helping anybody? Rule number 4, repair is a requirement. Family that can't repair is just shared trauma with matching last names. If there is not a model of reparation in the relationship, then this is trauma, and it's repeated, and it's a cycle, and it's going to keep on keeping on. Okay. Now I know somebody heard me and got uncomfortable there, but it's because we were trained to think that boundaries themselves are rebellion. But boundaries are not rejection. Boundaries are the blueprint for sustainable connection. The difference between a river and a swamp is boundaries. No, let that imagery set in. Let it settle in. The difference between a river and a swamp is boundaries. Your life starting to give off a little smell that you don't like. There might be a lack of boundaries. Things aren't growing the way that you wanted them to grow in your life. Habanero. That might be a boundary problem. Rivers are defined by distinct banks that direct flowing water, while swamps are generally unbounded, stagnant, or slow moving. In other words, nothing knows where to go. Nothing has any direction. There is no flow because there are no boundaries. Boundaries don't just show people which lines not to cross. It also shows things where to flow in your life. Damn, this is good. I'm in ultimate preacher mode right now. Oh no, we need all the music. We need the lights, the fog machine. We need all of that right now. Oh, this is too good. Rivers have strong fixed boundaries that contain the current, whereas swamps consist of amorphous or spreading water, often creating a mire or a wetland. So now let's deal with our big phrase. People say that'll always be your family. My answer is they're family, but we're not related. Whether they are your kin depends on whether they can participate in the purpose of kinship. Because the purpose of kinship, it is not control, okay? It is not access. It's distributed care. It's distributed care. That's the social technology of family. That's the social purpose of kinship, is to distribute care. The purpose of kinship isn't control. It isn't access. It's care. It isn't entitlement. It's continuity. It isn't access without standards. It's access with obligations. If I can't count on you when life gets hard, then functionally, we're not operating like kin. And I'm not saying you got to cut everybody off. You don't got to be me. You ain't got to go jujitsu, kung fu fighting, kung fu panda on everybody. But I am saying we need reason so we can stop confusing blood ties with safe ties. I don't stay in relationship with oath breakers. I don't. You're an oath breaker. Be gone from me. Nope. I don't stay in relationships with oath breakers. Also don't do relationships with cowards. That's another thing. Now I tell people sometimes like, whew, y'all get the nice version of me, but there's a whole person in here. Okay. I don't do relationships with oath breakers or cowards. If you're a coward, I can be friendly to you, but you can't be my friend. I can't do it, man. But oath breakers for sure. If we're kin, we're obligated to care for each other. You know? I love that, Brittany. If we're kin, we're obligated to care for each other. Family for me is not a relationship that I'm obligated to be in. It's a relationship that comes with obligations. You know that? Family for me is not a relationship that I am obligated to be in. It's a relationship that comes with obligations. Like when I opened up, I told you, my wife and I, when we used to have these big arguments when we first got married, we'd have to get that to that point and say, look, are we staying together after this or not? Because if we're staying together, then we have an obligation to talk to each other like it. You know what I'm saying? No, we have obligations to consider each other in all of our decisions. We're obligated to support each other. And this is my final question of today, and we're going to get ready to get up out of here. What if kinship had generational expectations? What if this wasn't just about how I feel today, how we feel in the moment, but what if we knew that the way we relate would also help reshape the world we live in and share. Otherwise, why are we doing it? One thing that I like to bring people attention to is that these are social technologies that we are misusing. We're expecting somebody else to use them on our behalf. We have to get ourselves back in position by being intentional about our relationships. Now, if you're going to be my friend, it has to be a productive friendship. This friendship has to help us get where we're trying to go. And maybe the friendship will evolve into family, because that's the biggest thing about doing family with reason. Now that I'm falling in love with reason, nobody gets to choose my family for me. I get to choose that. Blood doesn't determine who my family is. Behavior does. Oh, can I say that again? How you my family and we don't behave like that? When my children were young, I keep playing with my zipper on my jacket. I'm sorry. Neuro spicy. When my children were young, every time we go out somewhere, people would say, "Oh, they are just so well behaved." And after a while, I started getting offended. 'Cause I'm like, what the hell you think I'm doing at home? Like, why are you surprised that my children are well behaved? You know what I'm saying? Why are you surprised that my children are well behaved? They behave like me because we're related. Y'all, I can take my earbuds out, walk away, take up an offering, and roll out. No, they behave like me because we related. Blood doesn't determine this relationship. Behavior does. This is what I mean by generational expectations. The social technology of family is supposed to allow us to be a people who can protect the vulnerable among us. That's what that family system is for. It's supposed to be able to allow us to tell the truth without cruelty, to show up even when it costs something, to pass down health and not harm, and to build stability and not chaos. Many times we have to reject almost everything we used to know and used to think to get to the place where we start understanding why we are where we are and why we're not where we could be. We're not stable because stability was not passed down. We're not healthy because health was not passed down. These things come through the social technology of family. That's kinship. So the question becomes, what are we passing down right now? Health or harm? That's like one of the biggest points of relating to people in that type of intimacy. The whole point is to be able to pass something better down. Because whatever we normalize becomes culture. If we normalize dysfunction, then culture is dysfunctional. If we normalize disconnection, then the culture is disconnected. And that's why reason matters, because reason interrupts cycles. Reason breaks scripts. Reasons tell the truth about what relating requires. That I don't have to pretend that you just being here is being enough. There is more that comes to being in my life than just being around. We've got to be connected. We've got to be working on something together. We've got to be moving in the same direction. Our eyes need to be on the same prize. We have to have a similar behavior. Something has to be going on that makes this more than just memories and mood swings. It's got to be deeper than that, because we have children coming after us. We have other generations coming after us. So how do we make our relationships mean something to the world that we live in? How do we make our relationships mean something to the people that we call family? Why are we going to be family and nothing about that relationship can help anybody else. That's the importance of reorienting ourselves in reason. Why are we connected? Why are we related? How does this help you? How does this help me? And how does this help who's coming next? How does this help get us to a better tomorrow? So here's my invitation. This is your opportunity to connect better. This is your opportunity to reorient. This is your opportunity to reconsider how you approach life, how you approach relationships, and to recognize that you're not alone. Listen, even if you're the best thing since sliced bread, even if you just like me, even if you just like old boy and pressure that we just talked about, listen, baby, I know you can handle it. I know you've been carrying everything on your shoulders for so long. I know you can. But I'm telling you, you shouldn't have to. I'm telling you, it comes at a cost. I'm telling you, you might be doing it wrong. Even though you had to do it that way for so long, even though you felt like you didn't have any other options, I'm telling you now, community is the doorway to getting your relationships back right. This is why I don't stand up here on Sundays and just bash Christianity and just bash religion or just bash the White House, because none of that is going to help you. I stand up here every Sunday to bring these type of conversations because nobody else is doing it. And they're necessary. You need more focus on the people who are going to help you, not the people that are causing chaos and drama and trauma and stress. You need to find the people who are willing to get in the game with you and say, I'll be your support system. We may not be able to do anything about what's happening over there right now, but if we do better about where we are together, then tomorrow we become a force. We become a force. We become something that can make a difference. But that doesn't happen overnight. It happens when we have stronger relationships. People can only do their best work when they feel like their best selves. And we get that feeling from our friendships, from our kinships, from our partnerships, from our associations, our memberships, from the way that we relate to other people. You want to fix this world? You start it by fixing your relationships with other people. You start it by building new relationships with other people. You want to bring meaning to this world? Bring meaning to your relationships. You want to bring change to society? Bring change to your relationships. You want to make a difference? Make a connection. Get connected today. If you are not connected to a community like Bridge City, we'd love to be your community. We do shit like this all the time. We have movie nights. We have game nights. We're doing a big house party. I mean, it'd be at your house and my house and everybody else's house because we're online right now. But this is just the beginning. We're growing in LA. We're growing in Miami. We're growing in Atlanta. And I'm not saying that to brag. I'm saying that this is reality. Community is reality, and it's accessible to you. We don't care what you believe. We don't have any rules for you to follow. Just show up and be your authentic self and learn, love, and lead with the rest of us. We are here to do one simple thing, and that is to connect better, to build better, so that we can all live better. And we do it not because we have a God that's telling us to. We do it because we believe that people matter, and that's enough. That's enough. I don't need a God to tell me to inspire people. I don't need a God to want to be motivational. I don't need a God to want to help people. I don't need a God to want to give to people. I don't need a God to want to do missions where we feed people who are hungry and clothe people who are naked. Why do I need a Jesus for that? I have eyes to see what's going on in this world. And since I know I can't do it alone, that's why I'm falling in love with reason and making sure that all of my relationships can actually do something in this world that we share together. Thank you for joining me today. And I hope you've enjoyed our session. Until next time, be the bridge and keep rising.
What another great session today. Be sure to leave your favorite takeaway in the comments below, or join us on the global campus and keep the conversation going in the comments. Speaking of, if you're making the decision to join Bridge City today, let me be the first to say, welcome to the Bridge. We're glad to have you here and be part of our growing community and can't wait to see you get involved. Your first step? Click the link on screen. There, you can take your first steps as a new member on our global campus. Once you're in, it's easy to get involved. We have a pathway in place for you to learn about the Bridge City campus and mission. So by the time you finish your first steps, you'll not only know more about your new community, but how to plug in and make a difference. So if you're ready to join, click the link now to get access to member-only content. We have conversations, clubs, and even courses. We can't wait to welcome you. And for everyone, if you value these conversations and believe in the work we're doing as a global community, let's take a moment to pause for generosity. Your support helps make this community accessible, sustainable, and growing. It empowers our bridges to not only reach further, but support more people on the journey. With the little support we've received so far, we've been able to accomplish so much, impacting hundreds of people through these Sunday sessions, events, and of course our global campus. But imagine how much more we could be supporting, establishing, and promoting with consistent financial support. Your weekly or monthly support, large or small, empowers us to establish new spaces, train new leaders, and power new projects that move people forward and help them connect better. That's what Bridge City is all about. The donation link and QR code are on the screen now. For anyone who is willing and able to make a statement of financial support today, we appreciate you. You make this possible. And lastly, don't keep this to yourself. A bridge is only as effective as the places it reaches. Help us reach new places by sharing this experience with someone and showing them there's life after uncertainty. Together, we can reach the world.
Thank you for joining us for the Falling in Love with Reason series. For our visitors, we hope to see you again next weekend. The first time you're a visitor. The second, you're a guest. If you come back a third time, you're as good as family. To our members, stay updated on events and activities by checking the Commons, clubs, and the global campus calendar. That's all for today, Bridge City. Have a people-centric, forward-thinking kind of week. Until next time, keep rising and be the bridge.
Whatever it is you choose, whatever you want is up to you. I believe in you. I believe that you can do whatever it is you choose. Whatever you want is up to you. Imagine what happens if you put your whole all into it. No matter the circumstance, you never allowed yourself to quit. Imagine what happens if you put your whole all into it. No matter the circumstance, you never allowed yourself to quit. 'Cause I believe in you. I believe that you can do whatever it is you choose. Whatever you want is up to you.